ahead.
This is Tats Magazine here with Joe Queer. It is November 11th, 2023, and we are here live outside of the compound in Houston, Texas. So you've been in the Queers or working on this project for over 40 years, and I want to go through like a brief history. How did you start it?
Well, we started back when we got out of high school, and we were just starting fooling around, and we loved the Ramones, and we were just fooling around, loved the Meatmen, stuff like that. Clash, Sex Pistols, and we all played music. Wimpy did, I played Tulu, I used to play trumpet, then I picked up guitar. So we all had musical backgrounds. Wimpy played drums in the band, and Tulu was always like playing guitar and stuff. And so anyway, we got together just for fun, and we did 2 7-inch records, and pressed up 200 records of each 7-inch, one in 81, 82, and one in 84. And now they sell for like huge bucks. One of our first records, the first 7-inch, the original pressing, went for like over $4,000 I saw recently. It's crazy. It's a collector's item. I don't have any. I gave them all away. But we were just having fun, and then I went through different lineups and went down to, started hanging around. I was from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and then went down to Boston. The early lineup, we only did a few shows with G.G. Allen and stuff. It was just kind of to play a party, not a serious band. Then we went to Boston. We started playing at the Rat. I met J.J. Razzler, who was in a band called DMZ. They were on Sire Records with the Ramones. Evan Shore, Kevin Keese. I was playing with guys down in Boston, and it was at the Rat, and we would open up for bands at the Rat, but we opened up for the Ramones a few times, but we weren't much of a band. Anyway, I owned a restaurant in 1990, and I had met Ben Weasel from Screeching Weasel, and I sent him a tape of our Grow Up album, and then some other songs. We had a rehearsal tape. Anyway, we became friends over that. So it was weird because I owned a restaurant and thought that was kind of going to be my life. I didn't think I was going to play music, but we put out love songs for the Retarded, and then all of a sudden we were able to tour, and I enjoy touring, not every minute, not every night, but by and large that's how I've lived my life. It's what I wanted to do in high school, play music for a living, and we're lucky to be able to do a job where you make new friends every night you go to work. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool. And people cheer and say more, even the small shows, we like it. It's pretty cool. So, but that's how the band started. And it was a weird, circuitous route, but once we got on Lookout, we really started then. We became a serious band. And so, I had given a tape of our early stuff to Joey Ramone. We knew them way back when. We were always backstage at their shows and shit. And I sent him a tape. He gave us his address. We sent him a tape with 4 songs that came off our Grow Up album. It was before the album came out. And I saw Joey backstage at the University of New Hampshire about maybe a month later, 3 or 4 weeks later, right? Go to see the Ramones. I bullshit my way to get backstage. And I go in there, I'm like, "Hey Joey, it's Joe from the Queers." And he immediately came up and he goes, "I gotta tell you, I love Goodbye California and Love, Love, Love. That's great." And I was like, I couldn't believe he knew the song titles. I knew I didn't say, "What do you think about Goodbye California?" You know what I mean? It's a loaded question. But he came up to me when I said I'm from the Queers. He's like, "You're a good songwriter, man." And I was like, God, it meant a lot to me, because I was just a little guy from New Hampshire, I was like, shit, dude. And so I always had that in the back of my head. Even when they had the restaurant, all this stuff, I would always have a band, the Queers, going, and I was like, always in the back of my head, Joey Ramone, I could hear his voice saying, "You write good songs," So that's kind of how we got going. And once I got the opportunity, it was what I dreamt of doing. So I've gone through a lot of band guys. I'll be honest with you, a lot of guys end up, they get married, they have kids, they go to school, open restaurants or business, you know what I mean? It's hard to be in a band. You got to make a commitment. It's a lifestyle, the whole thing. Luckily, I'm able to keep going on that stuff, so it's been fun. So anyway, that's how we started. Sorry it took me so long to answer that one question.
Since you've been in the punk scene for so long, what's it been like watching the culture change and evolve over time? Like, does the atmosphere of punk shows today feel any different than it did?
Like say last night was like the Dead Kennedys and Queers. I don't know. It was like the crowd was a little older, but we played Punk in the Park last week. I don't know. When you're at the big shows, I don't feel it's changed all that much. I think with the political landscape, people are more invested in politics these days than they ever were. I mean, there was always political bands, the DKs, Speak of the Devil, you know, Jello. But he always said his stuff with a sense of humor, I felt. But always going to shows, I don't think it's, I don't feel it has all that much.
Yeah.
So.
I watched a previous interview where you said, I love a good pop song. Is there any specific artist that you listen to that people wouldn't expect you to like?
Well, let me think. Like I listen to Jesus and Mary Chain. We're funny. We'll latch on to bands like, we like Slade a lot. Now, I started lately, been getting into Slade as a band. Usually when one of us gets into something, we all do. And Joey Ramone was always into Slade, and I started getting into them, and they're really good. But, see, I used to play trumpet in the band, so I will listen to, say, there's a song by this jazz band, I'll play it for you after the interview, called, just play a part of this little song. This is that thing. This Richie Cole guy just died. He's a famous saxophone, jazz guy, jazz sax player. But we listen to this because 4 vocalists in the jazz band. And it's so, listen to it.
Yeah, very technical.
You know, it's really impressive, the vocals, and then the band too, though, you know. It's really, so anyway, we listen to that and go, God, this band is playing great. So we listen to different stuff. So ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, I listen to that a lot. That's not a real stretch. But I listen to songs that are well crafted and kind of like, you know, it gives me different ideas for songs. So I don't know off the top of my head, but I listen to Jesus and Mary Chain and stuff. But we also listen to Slade, Dr. Feelgood, Eddie and the Hot Rod, stuff like that. I don't know, it kind of varies. So, but as far as surprising, maybe jazz stuff once in a while. So,
yeah. Is there a specific song that y'all play live that you really look forward to every show, or a favorite that you have?
I like. Well, tonight was fun. We played. I Enjoy Being a Boy. No, I mean, it depends. Well, like last night we played in front of a packed house and we weren't headlining, so it was great. So I was really psyched to get to Fuck the World. I like playing that one, and then Punk Rock Girls or something like that. So anyway, yeah, I like that. But not, I don't know, it'll vary night to night. You know what I mean? Sometimes, because we don't have a set list. So we kind of just go, and that's why we're a little screwed up tonight. I'm kind of yelling, throwing them curveballs at them to see how we're doing. But it'll change, you know. That's why we don't use a set list. Say, if you have this, we have this song Mirage or Janelle off Don't Back Down. If you put them in the set list every night, they don't work. But if you feel that moment out when the crowd's into it and all that, and I'll yell it out, Janelle or Mirage, then they're gold. So we kind of go like that. So it'll change from night to night. But as far as favorites, I don't really have one. It's probably like saying who's your favorite kid if you have a bunch of kids. You know what I mean? So you love them all. So.
Do you have any words of wisdom or encouragement for newer bands that want to do something similar to you?
I would say our secret is that we have fun doing it. Number one, we have fun and we enjoy it. We don't enjoy every minute, but we have fun.
If you remember, what was the Queer's first gig like?
Our first gig, I think, was at a pool party or something. I don't know. It was kind of chaotic, drinking beer and having fun. So yeah, it was kind of little league. We were from New Hampshire. It was like way back in like the early '80s and shit. Like there was no scene. You know what I mean? We were just joking around. It was fun though. You know, we had fun. Like, we're playing a show. I went to a pool party.
Did you ever get nervous or pre-show nerves before playing?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you do, yeah. You get more like in anticipation of going up there, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, all of a sudden there's like 1 million people looking. Like, we played in front of like 40,000 people, you know, and you're like, fuck, dude, I don't know how these guys do it night in and night out. But I always like get the jitters, and then I get up there, you know, kind of the excitement, I think. And that's why we always have to, I always say, like, stay within ourselves and pull it back a little, because you get so amped up, you're like, fucking, you want to go 100 miles an hour, and you have to pull it back. So, but yeah, once in a while, I've had a couple of panic attacks, but not in years. But, you know, playing so long that you kind of, you know, feel at home on stage. So you got the guys with you, and it's like, you know, it's our band, so even if we fuck up, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we're not. When I played guitar, I toured with Marky Ramone on guitar, and I was more nervous then because I didn't want to fuck up because it's his band. If we fuck up, we just laugh and go, fuck, come on, whatever. And, you know, whatever. I could, you know, pull it off, but yeah, with someone else, I got more nervous with him. But anyway.
What is your dream tour lineup with bands that can be broken up?
You mean bands that any band from all time?
Yeah.
You mean? Oh, I would always love to tour the Ramones. I remember back in the day when we first played with them back in 1986. This was, we were horrible, fucking horrible. Played in front of about 3,000 people, and good Lord, we had never played in front of 300. So I saw 3,000. I was like, I couldn't believe I was on the same stage with the Ramones amps. I just kept looking. I was like, I can't believe I'm this close to, you know what I mean? Because I only saw them from the audience. I had met them backstage, of course, but it was pretty surreal, man. But anyway, I'd love to tour with them. The early Black Flag would have been fun. I don't know, Screeching Weasel. We got to tour with a lot of our friends. The Screeching Weasel, we've toured with them. The Muffs was a legendary band. Kim Shattuck was such a great songwriter. And so we got to tour with them on the longest tour they ever did. And of course she just died, which sucks. But so I don't know. You know, people ask me that, and it's just like probably the usual. I would have loved to sing a song with the Beach Boys, but that never happened really, and I doubt will. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know, just the usual suspects. Nice. I've seen a lot of those bands back in the day, of course. So
yeah. And do you have any final message to fans or any shout-outs that you'd like to give?
Well, just don't get too fucked up and try not to OD on fentanyl. My God. But we were lucky back when we started. A lot of kids would, you know, we would do coke, and I ended up on heroin at one point. You know, it was like back then it was almost more social. Like, come to a show like this, hey man, you want a line? Like, yeah, sure. Yeah, you know, we just did it like drinking a beer, you know. And then with the Queers, we ended up partying too much. You know, we started out partying, and then we would go do tours, and then we had people that wanted to drink 7 days a week, and we're like, this is fucking great, dude. There's always someone, and we could be in Mankato, Minnesota, and someone wants to drink with us. We're like, fuck yes, dude. But that'll bite you in the ass too. And I quickly realized you gotta do music or you gotta fucking party. So I would say keep sober and keep your feet on the ground. That would be my fucking advice to fans in the fucking scene these days, I'll be honest with you. So
yeah. All right, this is Tim Tats Magazine here with Joe Queer. You can catch the Queers in issue 6 of Tim Tats coming January 2024. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tyler. No problem.